And a huge welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the most scintillating show in the business after dinner chats. We're continuing to turn up the heat with Series 2, Signals and Sparks. Since the high stakes of Series 1 ripped off less, we're grilling former guests of the legendary Next Dinner Party. That exclusive table, first set in Sydney back in 2007, is still a hot ticket in town, with the grand finale of 2025 coming up in a top-secret London location next week. But let's meet tonight's star player. I first crossed paths with this chap in 2012. We were both trailblazers at WPP Asia, this was at the dawn of the programmatic revolution. He was the mastermind leading Zaxis behind the Great Firewall in China, and I was captaining 24/7 Media's Media Innovation Group out of Singapore. He's since swapped the Far East for fine Italian dining in Milan, and tonight he's here to share his winning strategies. He's a global media and marketing transformation exec dedicated to future-proofing a CMO's toolkit. Give a round of applause for Jesh Sukwani. Jesh, great to see you.
Likewise, James. Thank you for having me on the podcast today.
Pleasure. Listen, let's dive straight in. I'm going to quiz you about the signal in the noise. What's something that you've seen in the news or somewhere in the world this week that's of interest, an interesting signal for the future?
It's a great question, James. And I'm going to approach it in a slightly different way. It's something that I've seen specifically this week in the news. There was a lot of news this week around AI and connected to the stock markets and overvaluations or where the state of the industry is going. But truly, when we speak about interesting signals for the future, or how I would see where there are interesting sparks which come in to be able to create some sort of view into the future of what may follow in Europe and the United States. My signal is very much Asia, James. And then let me tell you why I think Asia is a powerful source of a signal, at least for me in this case. I think Asia, from its diversity and its dynamic markets that it has, and it's very much of an energetic can-do mentality, are doing a lot of things in marketing now, whether it may be in the creative industry, from creating ads through to what's being done in the AI area, and the, if I may use the word, the democratization of AI for all, for everybody to be involved in. And for me, Asia starts at a point somewhere in the UAE, in Dubai, and all the way through to Japan. What they're doing out there in the region and how it's being reported and shared in the press, and what we learn from it, it's really a strong signal, time and time again, of what things should be done, nuanced to a European and a Western way of doing things, or run with something which can be used to improve what we're already doing in the Western Hemisphere of what's being done in Asia.
This is the third podcast recording in a row where the first thing that the interviewee has done is jumped towards something that's coming out of Asia or China specifically, looking at how to use your word, democratization of AI, rather than the big, this one's going to be the one that everyone's going to use. Here's 100 different ways of the agents can be working together across different places in different ways and across from different technologies, and then having your own bespoke build.
Yeah.
So we met in Shanghai in 2012 or 13 at what was then, I think, an Invite Media event before they were officially
Googleized. Yeah,
Googleized. What brings you? What specifically are you talking about? Now, you mentioned the UAE, and you've mentioned from UAE to Japan. What are a couple of examples of things across that region that pique your interest?
I think what's very current and top of mind is around the financing and costing structure of AI and models, and how you want to make AI available at a cost-effective approach. And I think I was watching a webinar online session. I think it was CNBC or Bloomberg Live, where the guest on the program, on the show, actually predicted that we'll probably end up having a mix of models, which is using Asian-based solutions combined with solutions made in the Western Hemisphere, namely the United States. Moving away from what's actually current, when you look in the last 10 years of what's been developed in terms of B2C models, platforms, you cannot ignore the success of TikTok and how that as an entertainment platform has really created an entire industry of creators and content. And we're just seeing an evolution of what we had seen in the past to what we are looking in the future. Of course, now with much better technology and tools to think. So that opens up from a brand perspective a whole new area of opportunity of how they'll be able to better manage their and strengthen their media investments for efficiency, but also for more efficacy.
There's a whole load of different strands I want to take from that bit of the conversation, but I'm going to push it towards the next part of our conversation around connecting the dots. So what is it that you're up to at the moment where you can bring together this international experience? I mean, you're based in Milan now. I caught up with you a few weeks ago in London. We first met in Asia when you ran a programmatic trading desk for WPP. What else is going on in your world right now? How are you connecting the dots?
I've been for the past almost 5 years on brand side. I was leading media and the COE at Lenovo and Motorola, based out of Milan. Currently, what I'm seeing that there is a change of dynamics of how brands engage and will be engaging in the future with their media agencies. A lot of the conversation that we had in the past was around the business models, but I think in addition to the business model, how a brand compensates a media agency is also the way in which how brands in the future will engage to buy media and engage in how they connect the brand through the media platform with their audiences. And there has to be another updated version of a compensation model, which allows for data to be used, develop models, and use that data again, namely first-party data, to be able to drive better outcomes. That hasn't been really done at scale in the past up until now. Many brands are either not sitting on a ton of first-party data. Lenovo, fortunately, does. It has a extremely robust, well-developed e-commerce business. But there are a lot of many brands which have huge media investments that do not have the first-party data to develop that. So again, going back to the books and playbooks that these brands have been using, and to update those to reflect how the crossroads between media, technology, and data will drive better outcomes for the brand in future. When you consider agentic AI, when you consider many other areas in terms of using brand data to drive better outcomes.
If you were looking at, I don't know, a specific industry vertical, how are things changing? I mean, if you're going to look at we're talking about the globalization and your international outlook. Let's look at the travel industry, for example. If you were going to look at what's going on in the travel industry, how could they take advantage of the way the world's changing?
There is it's a really good question. There is still an under-monetization of travel data in the marketplace. I categorize travel data as an overall subsection of retail media. And there's been a lot of focus on retail media to drive consideration and eventually purchase. So the mid to lower funnel on a lot of the large retail e-commerce sites. With travel data specifically, where I'm looking at it is we need to be able to better engage with audiences that we may know is flying to a specific destination on a specific route, understand the agenda, because the brands that will be interested in buying those travel audience data are also brands that are investing top of funnel a lot of money in branding. So if you're able to catch the audience in the right moment with intention, consideration, and eventually a very strong call to action at the airport to be able to track conversion, then I think there is a very strong value proposition here, exchange proposition. So I think there's a value exchange to be had, and I think that has to be put together for brands to buy into.
I think that's really interesting, and I think it's the interaction of all the different all the different data sets across the different verticals, just so that we can say, actually, we're trying to achieve this in this environment for these people at this time. But it's the connecting the pipes to get all those different data sets to talk to each other, which is the foundation part of it. But I guess that's hopefully going to be simplified as we go forwards, and we can get the machines to do it for us. Because at the moment, as my dear colleagues will attest, it's a laborious task to make sure that we're getting all of those data pipes connected. Way, just simple things like taxonomies and that. But let's not dwell on that. I want to jump into the high five, if I may.
Sure.
The quick round of 5 questions to finish.
Yep.
First one, Jesh, who's your hero?
Too many to refer to. It will be discredit to all those heroes that I have met and been alongside me on my journey, both privately and professionally. Far too many, far too many to list, but they know who they are, and I'm in regular contact.
Are you dodging the question, Jesh? Are you dodging the question? Go on, give me one name.
Not.
Come on.
No, I really truly have. It'll be yeah.
Park it. So, what's your best decision?
It's a very boring answer, but really coming into the media industry, there is no industry besides media and marketing which is as dynamic, as changing, potentially as profitable than any other industry. I've worked in other industries before coming into media and marketing, and I think that's the best decision I've had to remain in the industry.
I'll say here to that. What's your worst decision?
Underestimating my own abilities and not taking the leap of faith when I needed to. I had many opportunities way back at the beginning of my career to move to Dubai, which I was nervous of. Really didn't see the potential. How could I have as well? But I decided not to. I had another opportunity then to move to the Caribbean, and again, sort of a venture there. And I didn't. And if only I had, life
there
would
are many people that turn down trips, adventures in Dubai and the Caribbean. I would love to hear on another occasion as to what held you back, other than what you're saying now is a lack of investing in your future self. But I'm interested to hear what it was that you were doing at the time. Now, the next one is a bright spark. I'm going to ask you to recommend one more person for me to speak to, but of course, for them to come on this pod, they have to have been to a dinner already. So who's someone that you find fascinating and that you think that I should get to a dinner or onto this podcast?
He's somebody that time and time again, we're not in regular contact with each other, but whenever I speak with him, and you're at an event or another, it always very impresses me. And if you look at his career path, he's been on the agency side, he's been in tech, he's worked in media, and that is a man based in London by the name of Anthony Ryan. Do you know him?
Anthony Ryan. I know Anthony Ryan, and he has been to a dinner.
He has, right?
He has,
Good.
And his business partner is coming to the next dinner that we're putting on. He's a lovely man, and I look forward to taking this recommendation and getting him onto the pod. I'm delighted, and I love how the world gets ever smaller, and the people that I respect in some markets happen to know people that I respect in others. Jesh, thank you very much for joining me today for this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me, James. All the best.
In the twilight, we gather around the table, stories to share, ideas unstable with signals bright. Through data we roam, creating sparks.